hi, everybody. Welcome to NAUI's Dive Team Report. I'm your host, Greg Martin. You know, I have the utmost respect for our men and women in the military. I can't thank them enough for their service and their sacrifices. There are a lot of programs out there that are designed for the wounded veterans, and I've just been made aware of yet another great program here in the Northwest. Rob Anderson is the founder, director, and lead instructor for Neptune Warrior. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Greg, thank you so much for having us on. This is really important to us to get the word out, and I really appreciate you taking the time to interview me today.
Talk a little bit about your program and how it came to be.
I think for me, it really started with understanding what water did for me and the healing properties that the water has had for me as an individual. And I just decided that I want to carry that out to to others. So that, there's really, I guess there's really two components. One is that, our motto is healing heroes one dive at a time. And we've really found that water does have a lot of healing properties, that just the sounds that scuba gear creates can in itself can be very therapeutic. The silence of that underwater world. I think the other part is that I'm still chasing ghosts. There's people that I've lost on my watch. There's people that I've let down. There's people that looked to had looked to me, and so I many times or oftentimes I'm doing this because I'm still chasing that ghost oftentimes. But we really do find that whether it's a veteran that is just transitioning out of the service, imagine that one day where you went to church, where you bought your groceries, the community that you were in, your neighbors, just suddenly one day that's gone. And now you leave this military life and suddenly you're a civilian. So we not only deal with just wounded veterans, but we also deal with people who are going through a transition process. We are dealing with folks who are, have PTSD, anxiety, depression. And we just find that the water has very healing properties. It provides us an opportunity to build a community of veterans, but it also allows us an opportunity to integrate those veterans with civilian counterparts.
As I mentioned at the onset, there are a number of programs out there. What makes the Neptune Warrior program different?
Sure. One of the, first of all, we're in Idaho. And when you mention diving and Idaho in the same sentence, people kind of look at you a little odd because they don't think of Idaho as being a destination dive place. And we're not. And that's why we are such a good fit. So a few things that does separate us from other veteran organizations. First of all, we're multi-generational. So it doesn't matter if you're a Vietnam veteran, if you're a post 9/11 veteran, Gulf War veteran, it doesn't matter. We accept all generations. I've got my oldest diver is 72, was a Marine combat veteran. And then again, it goes multi-generational. We also are not just, even though we're veteran centric, we also take care of our first responders, our police officers, our fire department, our fire personnel, anyone who's an emergency responder, and anyone who is directly related to one of those. So like a caretaker, a wife, a daughter, a son, a brother. We also, because they have to deal with that veteran, we deal with that veteran. But really what we do, most of our heavy work is done inside a pool. I've got divers who have in excess of 50 hours of confined water time that really don't have a desire to go any further. And then at the same time, obviously, I do have my divers that they get into the water, they enjoy it, they want more of that adventure. And so there's some different components that we have. We'll have brand new folks that want to just try that underwater experience. They love it. They find it relaxing. We do different games. We do different activities. We've done everything from underwater blackjack to underwater hockey to just relaxing. Just if you think about meditation, yoga, and scuba diving put together, it's a combination of that. Then we'll have divers that come to us or veterans that come to us. They've already been diving. They think, I moved back to Idaho. I've been stationed in Guam or, Hawaii or someplace that has great diving. What do I do now? And so obviously we have the pool events for those folks. But then we believe very strongly in mission-specific diving. So we've been very fortunate to have a dive shop that supports us here in the local area, a NAUI dive shop that supports us, and they've turned over their Thursday night dives to us to run, and now we can integrate our veterans with those folks, and we do mission-specific diving, everything from looking for Hot Wheels cars to actually, I have an instructor specialty on underwater metal detecting. And so we get divers out to do that. So no, we're not a dive destination, but we're going to make it, for our local divers, we're going to make it a destination every week.
You know, Rob, there's this disturbing statistic going around about the number of suicides for veterans, and that is that's a tragic thought.
No, and you're absolutely right. By the way, you'll see 22 a day. That's the common number that's out there. What people don't realize is that number is only reported from 21 different states that release those numbers. It also does not include the number of active duty suicides, approximately one per day that takes place. So we know that number 22, although it might be a number that we cling to, is really much higher than that. Let alone, having suicides on one component of that, you also have depression, anxiety, things that take place that may not lead to suicide, but they don't lead to a great a balance in life. And so you'll have destructive lifestyle come into play. Self-medication. Some of my divers, when they come to us, they have what we basically call a shoebox pharmacy, and it's because all the medications that they have in there are meant to regulate mood. What we have the ability to do is even if it's for 2 hours out of a day, we get a chance to provide a better atmosphere for mood. We get to provide camaraderie, esprit de corps. And some of my divers, we have a chance to give back some of that heart that they lost when they came out. When you think about the average soldier, Marine, airman, that there's a significant amount of pride of being in the service, and then all of a sudden you're gone. Well, how do you replace that? How do you feel? This, I don't mean elitism in a bad sense, but feeling like that you're doing something that nobody else does. We're able to give that back into diving. Greg, I've gotten text on a Monday or Tuesday morning, and this doesn't happen a lot, but I've had a couple that has happened, where an example might be, hey, thank you so much for taking me diving. And I text back, sure, no problem, please come join us again. And on one of those texts, the immediate text that came back was, no, you don't understand, my plan was to kill myself on Sunday morning. When we have a chance to give somebody something to look forward to, and I know that we're not the silver bullet, we're not the answer to everything, but we are part of that solution. When you have a chance to do that, this last week I had a chance to take an airman who has lost his leg. It's an above the knee amputation. I took him out diving on Sunday. It makes it really hard to go back to a mundane job on Monday because you live on on this high that you've been a part. I mean, you're not the reason for it, but you're a partner in them regaining that self-esteem again.
And you have a website for people to check out.
So if you actually just type in NeptuneWarrior.org, that will get you to the website. And right now it is a WordPress-based site. We're going to look to change that, but NeptuneWarrior.org. That will get you to the website or to Facebook site. If you just type in NeptuneDivers.org, that gets you over to our Facebook page, and that's really where you see a lot of the activity going on.
And you are a nonprofit as well, so people looking to make a donation that will make a difference should connect with you, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we're a 501c3 that nobody receives any kind of compensation for. Everybody's a volunteer. We love new gear. We love used gear. And we've had some great partners come on. Captain Monk out of C-Trek BVI has come on. We've got a regional partner in Northwest Scuba, locally, Boise Scuba Shop has come on to help us out. But we do have needs. I mean, we're always in need of gear. I know that a couple of things that we've got coming up in 2018. I know that I've got a diver that cannot hold a regulator in his mouth. At some point, we're going to have to put ourselves into a situation where we can do full face mask training. I've got a couple of divers that, because of either spinal injury or because of amputation, we're going to have to get into DPVs at some point. Right now, we're a grassroots organization. We take in there's some months we take in $35 a month. There's other months where we do get a great blessing of maybe $1,000 on a one-time contribution. So there's nothing steady, but yeah, we definitely need gear. Shops, if you have used gear, we take it in. Again, our local partner here, if it has not been serviced when you send it, our local partner here at Boise Scuba will service that gear for us. Of course, we love new gear. Who doesn't love new gear? But we take in anything that we can get, and everything is put right back into use. Goes into our inventory. We get in the water. We get divers diving.
Hey, I know there's a lot of divers out there. Like me, you probably have a gear bag with a half a dozen masks and several sets of fins and more that could find a good home, right?
Sounds wonderful, and it gets loved and cherished and used every week. Whether it's with our veterans that are transitioning into college, and we're out at Boise State University with those guys and gals, or if it's on our Sunday morning dives, it will get loved and cherished and used. By the way, I want to make sure that I thank NAUI for their support on this. They believed in this program when nobody else really saw the vision of what we wanted to do. And I want to thank Jim Gunderson, who it was really Jim who saw the vision, captured the vision, and had encouraged me the whole way. And then Jim Larson, who every time I talked to Jim on the phone, not only was he a great person for my instructor crossover, but every time I talk to Jim, I learn new things every time. He's just been an incredible influence on not only my life, but also in my diving career.
Rob, can't thank you enough for what you do and for sharing your love of the underwater world. And thanks for joining us on the podcast.
All right. Hey, thank you so much.
Hey, I'd love to hear your comments. You can email me, podcast@naui.org. That's podcast@naui.org. And of course, if you have an interest in learning to dive, you can always check out naui.org or check out your local NAUI dive shop. And that's this episode of NAUI's Dive Team Report. I'm Greg Martin. Can't thank you enough for listening. I'll see you underwater.